G'day all you mad gamers, I'm Mad Mikey, I come from the bloody land down under, and in today's gaming news opinions, we're going to be talking about, that big elephant in the room, which is the newly announced mini Super Nintendo coming out. There's a lot of news out there, so we're going to be talking about that and what I think about it. Also, Xbox One X, or as I just like to call it, the One X. There's a few details there around the 4K capabilities, as well as a bit of news. And last off, there's a new update for Final Fantasy 15, which sounds pretty cool. All that and more in today's gaming news opinions. And guys, remember, it's not just the news, it's my opinion too.
Mad Mikey Gaming.
What is up, gamers? Today being the 27th of June 2017, or the 26th, or the 28th. I don't think it's going to be the 28th anywhere, but there's a lot of news out there today, and it is headed off by the big news that I'm pretty sure that everybody was expecting, and that is the fact that Nintendo have announced a mini Super Nintendo coming out, very much the direct sequel to the mini NES that came out less than a year ago, and there is a plethora of improvements as well as just all-round awesomeness. They announced today that the Super Nintendo Classic Edition is going to be coming out. It's going to be $79.99. Don't forget that 99 cents. Plus, I'm sure the poor Americans are going to have to pay a bit of tax on top of that. And in Australia, you're going to be looking at $119.99 because the government needs that extra 99 cents. Now, if you sort of translate the amount of money that it costs, it roughly works out to be about 100 Australian dollars, but obviously the tax man's got to get paid. So they came out and they announced that it's not going to come with one, but it's going to come with two controllers. Now that's really good news because obviously you had to spend that extra $20, so I'm sure that's where the extra money is going. Now the games that are slated to come out on this system are going to be Contra 3, The Alien Wars, Donkey Kong Country, Earthbound, Final Fantasy 3, F-Zero, Kirby Superstar, Kirby's Dream Course, The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, Mega Man X, Secret of Mana, Star Fox 1, and the previously never released Star Fox 2, which actually ended up becoming Lilac Wars over on the Nintendo 64. You got Street Fighter 2 Turbo Hyper Fighting, Super Castlevania 4, Super Ghosts and Ghouls and Ghosts, Super Mario Kart, Super Mario RPG, The Legend of the Seven Stars, Super Mario World, Super Metroid, Super Punch-Out, and Yoshi's World. So all up, you're going to get 21 games on that. It's a bit shorter than what you did get on the Mini NES, which was around about 30 games. But these are all quality titles. The only ones that I'm actually not really interested in on there are the Kirby games. I just really think that they are sort of really pushing Kirby currently, and it's not something that I want. There's obviously a lot of games that people are wanting on there that are missing out that are a bit sort of interesting as to why they aren't there. So things like Mortal Kombat, NBA Jam, those sorts of games. But obviously licensing are going to be a main issue. But they've also come out and said that the Famicom Mini, which is the Japanese version of the game, is going to have slightly a few different amount of games. So instead of Castlevania, Punch-Out, Kirby's Dream Course, and Earthbound, they'll be getting The Legend of the Mystical Ninja, known as Ganbri Ganmon. I don't know what that is. Super Famicom Soccer, Fire Emblem, Mystery of the Emblem, and Panel de Pon, known in the West as Tetris Attack. So I wish that they'd just sort of put all these games. I don't know if there's any sort of language differences with these games. Myself, I was never really big into the Super NES. Not that I didn't want one, I just had a Sega, so that's all my parents could afford for me back in those days. And it is also noted that Nintendo have listened to some point, and they are going to be producing a lot more. Now, the console itself is actually coming out on the 29th of September, and it is only going to be a limited run until the end of the year. Now, it's been reported from head of America Nintendo, Reggie Fils-Aimé, that's the one, that the original Mini NES actually sold about 2.3 million copies. Now, I pre-ordered mine today, and I'm totally wrapped that I got it. I had to put a $30 deposit down, but you know what? If you've got to be in it to win it. So 2.3 million have been sold. There might be a few extra there in the wild. So I don't really know how much extra they're going to be doing, but they have sort of come out and said, no, this is going to be a limited run. This probably isn't the biggest news in the world, but it is there. And the last bit of news. They have confirmed that the length of the Super Nintendo Classic Edition's cord is going to be longer. It's going to be about 2 foot longer than the original one. Thank you, because we're not little teenagers or little youngins anymore where we're sitting right close up. We've got our big screens. We want to be able to sit back, kick back, and play some classic titles. So, guys, in terms of with the Super Nintendo, I only really played a lot of sports games when I was younger, so I didn't really get much into this. So I'm really looking forward to what the games that are going to be on there, especially like games like Zelda. Now, I really need to go back to the mini NES and play a bit of that. It's just sort of sitting there and we're having a little bit of fun. It's going to be another question to be asked, like whether they're going to implement some sort of extra security onto this console to stop from people being able to load their custom ROMs, very much like they did with the mini NES. I don't think that they really care that much as long as people are buying these things and getting them and playing them. And I think the reason that they are doing the limited run is because of the whole Nintendo Switch, where you'll be paying for your online services and getting like a free classic game at the end of the year. So that makes a lot of sense that they are going to be doing a limited run there. And next up in the news today, Final Fantasy 15 is getting a 1.2 patch update, and it's going to let you take the cars off the road. So if you've played Final Fantasy 15, you know that the car will only sort of stick to the road. This is going to be called Type D option, which is going to be available at Hammerhead. It's about an 8.6 gig update where you'll now be able to go upgrade your car to be able to do off-road riding. So I think this is very much in response to sort of a lot of the car fun that people have been having on GTA, all the races. Not that this is a multiplayer game, but you'll be able to have some good old dirty off-road fun on here. And I think that this is going to be really good for the game, because you'd know you have to pull over at certain spots and then you'd have to run for miles or whatever to get to where you're going. So it looks like there's going to be a bit of goofiness involved in this, along with obviously some time-saving options. You guys still playing Final Fantasy? Let me know in the comments down below. And in the last bit of news today, Microsoft have come out and said that the games that are going to be on the Xbox One X that support the 4K assets, they will be downloadable updates on the console regardless of whether you have a 4K TV or not. I don't know if that's going to be an issue in regards to people or the actual system being able to tell if you've got a 4K option. I know with the 1S that it does sort of say to you whether you've got that option there for HDR mode or 4K mode. So obviously the HDMI cable does talk to it. Now, regardless, when you have the 1X, it's going to be downloading all of these updates, whether you need them or not. Now, obviously they are pushing this as a 4K machine, so it makes perfect sense as to why they're going to be doing this. No words on the 1S, whether that's going to be mandatory or not, but it's looking like they've put a lot of thoughts into this, and honestly, I can't wait. It's actually really quite weird because the mini SNES has been announced today and it was able to be pre-ordered at EB Games and everywhere here in Australia, but you still can't pre-order the Xbox One X. There's actually just a list for it at the moment. So my name's down on the list. Hopefully I get one, because I really do want it because it looks sexy, and I'll probably end up trading in the 1S. As beautiful as that console looks, it's basically going to be like a middle between my launch day Xbox One and then the Xbox One X. So it's not good. It's not going to have like that nostalgic part where it was a big bastard of a console, and it's not really doing as much as what the new console will be. But guys, that's it for today's gaming news opinions. I hope you've got your own opinions. If you do, put them down in the comment section below. Give us a thumbs up if you like it. If you haven't yet subscribe please, because it helps me out. And don't forget to share it with your mother, your brother, your cousin, your father, anybody who loves gaming. But I will see you guys on Thursday for the Thursday edition of the Gaming News Opinions. Have a great day, guys.